Hello guys, back with the part 2 of the series. What if Itachi chose peace instead of Uchiha clan's massacre? Let's begin.
In part 1, we watched Itachi make a different choice. Instead of becoming the village's hidden executioner, he backed Hiruzen's negotiations before Danzo could act in the dark. The Uchiha clan fractured. Shisui Uchiha kept both his eyes. And Sasuke Uchiha grew up with his family still alive. But here's where things get really complicated. Because the story doesn't end with one good decision. It's what happens after that decision that changes everything.
Let's start with the hardest question first. The clan is divided. Some Uchiha side with Fugaku and still believe the coup is the only answer. Others follow Itachi's lead and trust that negotiation can work. And some are simply caught in between, waiting to see which side wins the argument. Here's the thing about that fracture, though. A divided clan is not a defeated clan. Fugaku is still the head of the Uchiha. He's still an elite shinobi and the respected head of the clan. And he still believes deeply that the village has wronged his people. So does the coup happen anyway? Just messier, more chaotic, less organized? Possibly. But there's a factor this timeline has that the original didn't. Shisui. In the original story, Shisui planned to use his Koto Amatsukami, a genjutsu so powerful it rewrites a person's will without them ever knowing, to subtly shift Fugaku away from the coup. Danzo stole his eye before he ever got the chance. But in this timeline, Itachi moved before Danzo could.
Which means Shisui still has both eyes, and Koto Amatsukami is still available. If Shisui chooses to use it on Fugaku, carefully, quietly, it becomes the Leaf's greatest chance to end the coup without bloodshed. Not through force, not through politics. Through one gentle, invisible push in the right direction. The clan doesn't need to be unified to survive. It just needs its most dangerous members pointed away from war. And for the first time in this story, that might actually be possible. Part 2. What does Obito do? Now, here's where the timeline gets dark again. Because while Hiruzen and Itachi are navigating the clan crisis in the Leaf Village, someone else is watching. Obito Uchiha. In the original story, Obito had planned to turn Sasuke into one of his greatest weapons, a boy broken by grief and hatred, desperate enough to be shaped against the world. But in this timeline, Sasuke isn't broken. He's not isolated. He's not consumed by revenge. He's just a talented kid growing up inside a politically complicated clan. Harder to manipulate, harder to reach. So what does Obito do? He adapts. Obito isn't someone who gives up when one plan falls apart. He spent years in the shadows building toward his goal. Losing Sasuke as a weapon doesn't end his mission. It just forces him to find another path. Does he try to recruit a different Uchiha from the fractured clan? Someone bitter enough about the coup's failure to be turned? Does he attempt to manipulate the clan's internal conflict from the outside, steering it back toward violence when the negotiations start to actually work? Or perhaps he abandons the clan altogether and searches for another way to create the chaos Madara needs? Or does he go even further back and try to accelerate Madara's plan without waiting for Sasuke at all?
Whatever he chooses, Akatsuki is still out there, still collecting tailed beasts, still moving toward the Eye of the Moon plan. The difference is, they're doing it with far less resistance from within. No Itachi slowing them down from the inside. no carefully placed delays protecting the leaf. Without Itachi quietly disrupting events from the inside, Akatsuki operates with fewer internal obstacles. Still dangerous, still moving, just with one less force working against them in the shadows.
This is the question everything builds toward. The Fourth Great Ninja War in the original story had several massive catalysts. Akatsuki collecting tailed beasts, Pain attacking the leaf, and crucially, Obito declaring war after the Five Kage Summit. Sasuke played a significant role in events leading there, but he wasn't the trigger. He was one of the biggest catalysts after the summit pushed everything past the point of no return. Pull on any one of those threads in this timeline, and the whole chain changes. Pain still attacks the leaf. Nagato's grief and ideology exist completely independent of anything the Uchiha clan did. That part of the story probably still happens, and Naruto still has to face it. But Sasuke's role in everything after that? Completely different. In the original, Sasuke's hatred made him willing to destroy the village that killed his clan. Obito used that. Sasuke's hatred became one of Obito's greatest weapons.
An entire arc of the series depended on Sasuke being a live grenade ready to go off. In this timeline, that grenade doesn't exist. Obito is trying to trigger a war without his most powerful psychological weapon. Madara's resurrection still happens. That plan was set in motion decades before Sasuke was even born. But the path to it is longer, messier, and far less certain. Does the war still happen? Probably. Madara's ambition doesn't disappear just because one variable changed. But does it happen the same way, with the same players, on the same battlefield? Almost certainly not.
Here's the part nobody can answer with certainty, and that's exactly what makes it interesting. Without Sasuke's revenge arc, Team 7's story changes at its core. Naruto's journey was always about bringing his friend back from the edge. Remove the edge, and what is that journey now? And without Sasuke's hatred driving him to seek power at any cost, Orochimaru may never lure him away from the leaf. The cursed seal could still happen. Orochimaru wanted Sasuke for his talent long before revenge shaped him. But without revenge consuming him, the cursed seal may never become the temptation that pulls Sasuke away from the leaf. The mission to retrieve Sasuke never happens. No promise Naruto ever has to make to Sakura. And here's someone this timeline quietly changes that most people overlook: Kakashi. The Kakashi we know spent years blaming himself for losing Sasuke. In this timeline, that burden may never exist. Instead of chasing a student he couldn't save, he gets to do what he was meant to do from the beginning: guide Team 7 forward together. Naruto's path to becoming Hokage becomes very different. Not necessarily shorter or easier. He still faces pain, still has to master Kurama, still has to become someone the village believes in. But the shape of that path changes completely. Or maybe, and this is the harder argument, without the pain of almost losing Sasuke, Naruto never grows into the person who could actually lead the village. The struggle was the making of him. And Sasuke himself, does he ever find the same depth of character without the darkness? The Sasuke we know is compelling because of his pain, his choices, his redemption. A Sasuke who never fell might never need to rise. One quiet decision. One man choosing the light instead of the shadows. And the entire soul of the story changes. So here's where we land. The Uchiha clan, possibly saved by Shisui's unseen hand. Obito, forced to adapt, but never giving up. The Fourth Great Ninja War, still coming, but walking a completely different road to get there. And Naruto and Sasuke, rivals without hatred. Friends without the years of pain between them.
Would this world truly be better?
Or did the tragedy of the original timeline create the very heroes who eventually saved it? That's the question I'll leave with you. Drop your answer in the comments. Would this timeline be better or worse than the one we got? And if you want to see what happens when we push this even further, what if Obito never met Madara? What if the Nine Tails attack never happened at all? Those are the timelines we're exploring next on Unchosen Lore. Subscribe so you don't miss it.